If I'm a dad and I want to teach my kid better ways to think, how does programming help with that?
So, my experience with my oldest is similar to a thing I've seen with a lot of other dads. So, he's not going to go out into the world and go, I'm going to be a programmer. He's really not. If he's doing that with anything, it's going to be an artist, and he spends an awful lot of hours a day drawing, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're a wonderful neuroatypical family, and as long as he's got an autistic fixation, we're happy with him. It doesn't have to be the same as ours.
Sure.
Um, but uh, but what's starting to make him pay attention is that he played Stardew Valley for a while,
Mm.
and to really speed run Stardew Valley, you need a spreadsheet. And it's not
Ah,
just a spreadsheet. You need to start looking at how things are programmed, because once you really want to know where all the balls of clay are, because they're one of the expensive early game items, you need to see how it arranges the balls of clay
mm-hmm.
using the data files that the game has for that. And so it's convincing people to use computers for their own sake is almost always a losing deal.
Yeah.
Like, code is kind of repellent to people early on. Like, code is not a way people naturally think mostly. Occasionally you meet somebody like that, but you can't
Sure.
bet on raising somebody like that, even if you
Mm.
do.
Right.
Um, and more to the point, programming tools are terrible. Programming tools are just across the board. It's not that every programming tool is terrible, but there is no major programming task you can accomplish without using at least one terrible tool.
Yeah.
There's not. Like,
Right.
very rarely do you meet a non-terrible tool. Um, and so what you need is something they care enough about to use a terrible tool to do it. And luckily, that's the kind of thing you do in home education all the time. I tend to say home education rather than homeschooling. It's what they say over in the UK.
Yeah.
Um, that's a thing in homeschooling you do all the time, because you're constantly asking yourself things like, how do I get the kid to wash the dishes? It's not because washing dishes is so appealing. Like, it's not going to happen one way or another. You're looking for a different motivation than the dishes being inherently satisfying.
Yeah.
Unless you just happen to have that kid, and that kid's going to have problems with other things, even if they love dishes. Like, something
Right.
or other, the kid's going to need some persuasion.
Don't think I've ever met that kid, but I'd love to have that kid.
You say that now.
Yeah, well, true.
I haven't met the dishes kid, but I've met the kind of kid that is neurotic enough to do that, and
Yeah.
there are downsides, right?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Well, every person has their demons to fight, and everybody has their awesomeness. So there's always two sides to a coin. One of the things that I kind of wanted to get maybe some final thoughts on is, um, the whole topic of childhood development and programming, um, and getting especially younger children kind of interested in this because it's good for their brains. It's good to develop different ways of thinking about problems in the world and team relationships and stuff like that. But it's a hard thing to get them interested in because looking at a screen full of code doesn't have the wow factor that you need to get, let's say, a 9 or 10 year old kid involved in it. They're just going to see a mess and they're like, that's,
Yeah,
I don't care what.
yeah. Well, and they're right.
Yeah, I think that a lot of days I'm at work. So, you know, but, um, but how do you get, what are some ways you can think of just real quick of how to get kids, let's say in the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old range to have that wow factor and say, oh, programming is actually something that I might want to investigate a little further.
The very first thing I'd suggest is find out what they're interested in and look for a way to do that. If they like Minecraft, look at Minecraft mods. Again, my oldest liked Stardew Valley, and so at that point, the idea of coding to speedrun Stardew Valley was interesting to him. Like, it was a thing. If they like chatbots, I don't so much mean AI chatbots. It's like, pretend you could write a chatbot to like harass your friends on Instant Messenger. That actually sounds pretty fun to me, and I'll bet there are kids who do. Like, great, do that. When my oldest was 5, he wanted to make My Little Pony videos. Like, he wanted, we got into Scratch, and he'd do a lot of drawing the pictures, and I'd do a lot of the designing the motion, and he'd tell me exactly like what things would happen in what order, and I'd show him how to do it. He'd do a little bit for himself, but it took a while, because first what he wanted to do was spend a lot of time drawing My Little Ponies and like doing little animations with them, and it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He learned a lot that way. But it's the same kind of thing. You meet them where they are, because you can make somebody better able to do something, but you can't make them want something. And so you've got
Right.
to find something they already want.
Yep.
If you like this clip and want to watch another one, you can click right here, or if you want to watch the full video, you can click here.